Are you here for this delicious 20-minute spicy beef noodle dish with veggies? I gotcha. They're delicious.
I'm dreaming in dreams bigger than me.
A key to a 20-minute meal is to get the thing that takes the longest going the first. So we're going to boil some water, but instead of boiling your noodles in just plain water, add a bouillon cube. It adds so much flavor. Now that we have our water going, the next longest step is a protein. When your protein is bigger in size, it takes longer to cook. So we're going to cut this steak down to a much smaller size so that it's going to cook significantly faster. The key to cutting this beef thinly is to have a sharp knife and try to cut it as evenly as possible so all the pieces cook at the same time. Another key to getting that meal on the table really quickly is to prepare all your ingredients. So my beef is shredded really fine. Next, I'm going to prepare the vegetables. Now, in this particular recipe, you can interchange the vegetables to suit what your preferences are. I happen to be using bok choy, red peppers, and onions today. The finer you cut your vegetables, the quicker they cook. However, if you want some crunch, then leave a little bit aside so that it doesn't cook and become soggy. Garlic, of course, gives so much flavor, and it's one of those items that I use in many of my dishes. But how you prepare your garlic is key. This time, we're going to smash it and cut it. One good wallop, and just chop it up. It's time to get that sauce going. So for the sauce, I'm using some chicken bouillon, gochujang, sesame oil, gives a punch of flavor, some paprika for color and smokiness, and last but not least, some chili flakes for that heat. Chicken bouillon, chili flakes, you can kick it up by adding a little bit more if you like. Paprika. Now I'm going to put my wet ingredients. My gochujang is a Korean red paste sauce. And last but not least, some sesame oil. Time to give all of this a really good mix. It starts off as a paste, but we're going to add a little bit more oil to it, neutral oil to it, in just a second once we've got it all mixed up. It's ready when you have a paste that's formed that looks just about like this. Now it's time to add some neutral oil and get it thinned out just a little bit so that it carries all this flavor right onto the beef and to the noodles. Before you dump your noodles into the broth, you put your bok choy that's cut in half into the noodles first to cook for just about 30 seconds into the noodle water. It'll cook for 30 seconds, flavor it, and cook it just enough that it still has a crunch. In it goes. That's all you want on it. You just want it to come out with a beautiful green color and just to soften up a hint. Should look something like this. It's time for the noodles. You can use whatever noodle you like. I prefer using these crinkly noodles simply because the sauce attaches to it so much better and it's so much nicer to eat. But you can really use any noodle you want. Time to add the noodle to the water. Now that we've dropped the noodles, it's time to pull all of this together by cooking the beef. We then add all the vegetables. Noodles will come in at the end, and this will be a beautiful, delicious meal in less than 20 minutes. We're going to start by adding our neutral oil and turning our stove on so that your pan is nice and hot so that your beef will sizzle in it. I'm adding a little bit of salt to the beef to draw out some of that moisture so that we're going to get those nice crispy bits when we put it into the oil. Pan's quite hot. You can hear that beef sizzle as soon as it hits the pan. These are going to help provide those brown bits and those sizzling bits. Takes about 2 minutes aside. We're going to look for a sear on one side and then flip them over and get a sear on the other side. Then it's time to add our vegetables in. Now here's one of my key tricks. When it's halfway done, it's time to put a little bit of Montreal steak seasoning right on top to the side that's not done. We're going to flip it over immediately afterwards. They're starting to brown up. This is how good they look. The meat's about 3/4 of the way done. It's time to add all your vegetables now. And give it a good stir. My bell peppers, garlic, and onions are right in there. You don't want to put the bok choy. We're just going to use that for the plating. The bok choy is all completely done. Onions are done. They're really softened up. And it's time to add some of our paste. Just incorporate all of that paste into your beef, and next we're adding the noodles. Time for your noodles. And this is where all the magic starts to happen. As you coat all of those noodles with the beautiful sauce, it smells absolutely delicious. In under 20 minutes, this beautiful balanced dish comes together with all your vegetables, some protein, and a little bit of carb, and a ton of flavor. Subscribe to my channel for more interesting, innovative ideas. Hit that notification button because I drop recipes all the time. I hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.